I know you guys are all ready for example 3. Example 3 is pretty much the same thing we've been doing. So if you feel like you understood this or the last two problems, then this one I will let you go ahead and try it on your own and fast forward to the end to see if you got it right. So let's get started. All right, so in triangle A, B, C, D, E, and F are the midpoints. So that means I need to mark my picture because midpoints tell us something very special about each side of our triangle. So if these are the midpoint, that means it slices through each side. It's very violent and cuts them in half, which makes two congruent segments on each side of the triangle. So these two are congruent, these two are congruent, and these two are congruent. Okay, which since these are mid-segments, I just said it. Since these are midpoints, what kind of segments are created by the ends of the midpoints? They are mid-segments. I know I gave it away. Silly Miss Long. The demon cat's got to me. But anyways, now let's keep labeling our picture. So it says EF is 3x minus 1. And AB is 10x minus 10. All right. Oh, I wrote 2, not 10. Get it together, Miss Long. Come on. Unacceptable. 10x minus 10. There we go. All right, it says solve for x, EF, and AB. So I'm going to solve them for 3 things. I'm going to solve them for x, EF, and AB. Okay, so I'm going to make a little chart so I can make it neat and organized. Apparently my marker's dying. Okay, so on this one, we're going to solve for x. This one we're going to solve for EF. So we're going to solve for EF. And this last one we're going to solve for AB. So I'm going to set this up so I'll keep things neat and organized. Okay, so if these are mid-segments, how does FE, or which side of the triangle is FE parallel to? Because if it's parallel, it has those special properties. Holly Hot Dog, you're correct. EF is parallel to AB. Okay, so if EF is parallel to BE, or AB, what can I do to EF to get to AB? Or you could go the other way. But what do I do to EF to get to AB? I do, in fact, double FE. If I double EF, I will get AB. Okay, so you can set it up kind of like that, or you could reverse it. You could say that if you half this side, it will give you this mid-segment. But sometimes if we have fractions in the problem, like if I put a 1/2, it'll make my life a little bit more difficult. Okay, which fractions are our friends. Don't you worry about that. But in this case, I'm going to go from the mid-segment to the side so I can avoid the 1/2. Okay, so I know if I double this side, it will equal this side of my triangle. So that's how I'm going to set up this problem. So I'm going to say AB will equal 2 times my mid-segment, which is e to the f. All right, and now let's just fill in all of our nifty values. So AB is 10x minus 10. Okay. Equals 2 times e to the f, which is 3x minus 1. All right, and then from here, I'm just going to solve for x. So first of all, what do we do with the number when it is outside of a parenthesis? Holy hot dog, you guys are right. We do distribute. So I'm going to distribute that 2 to this parenthesis. Okay, so I have 10x minus 10 equals, what is 2 times 3x? Yes, it is 6x. And what is 2 times negative 1? Heavenly hamburger, it is negative 2. You guys are awesome. All right, now I need to solve for x, which first of all, we need to join together our x's because they are besties and they want to be together because besties do best when they're together. Okay, so I'm going to bring the 6x to the other side. How would I bring a positive 6x to the other side? I would, in fact, subtract it. You guys are so smart. My brilliant little geniuses. Okay, well, 6x minus 6x cancels and turns to 0. 10x minus 6x is 4x. So I'm left with 4x minus 10 equals negative 2. All right, now I gotta move everything to the other side because this negative 10 right now is irking me because I want to get x by itself. So how do I move negative 10 to the other side? I would add it. Nice. Which negative 10 minus or plus 10 cancels and turns to 0. And negative 2 plus 10 is 8, which I'm running out of room. Guys, I'm going to squeeze it in over here. Hopefully that doesn't confuse you too much. Gonna kind of branch it off so you guys know what I'm doing. Okay, so now I have 4x equals 8. And the final step, how do I bring my 4 to the other side? Awesome sauce. You would divide it because that 4 is secretly multiplying to my x. Okay, which 4 divided by 4 cancels and turns to 1. So I'm left with 1x, or just x, equals 8 divided by 4, which is 2. Yay, we solved for x. But we are not done. Don't you worry, we're not done. Look at this problem up close and personal. All right, we're not done. It also says to solve for x, EF, and AB. Don't forget, in geometry, we're not necessarily done when we solve for x. So watch yourself, young grasshopper. Watch yourself. All right, so now that I know x equals 2, we can solve for EF, which I know EF equals 3x minus 1, which I labeled my pretty picture, as well as up here I have it. So I have EF equals 3x minus 1. And now that I know what x is, what can I do with my lovely x to figure out what EF is? I would substitute in that bad boy. Man, I don't know why I teach anymore. You guys are so brilliant. So I have EF equals 3. My x is going to transform into a 2. And then I'm going to subtract my 1. So what is 3 times 2? It is 6. So EF equals 6 minus 1. And finally, 6 minus 1 is 5. So e to the f equals 5. Awesome, that was great. Now, technically for AB, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole problem. Now, technically, without me having to substitute an x again, I technically know what AB is because what do I do to my mid-segment to get segment AB? I do, in fact, double it. So if I double 5, what is 5 doubled? Okay, so technically I know that AB equals 10. Technically I already know, but it doesn't hurt to check. Okay, and remember you guys, this segment is congruent to these two. So technically like these both are 5, which means I already know that's 10. But it doesn't hurt to check because if I substitute x in and I don't get 10, that means I failed epically somewhere, which I might need to reevaluate my life as well as this problem, which that's a lot to take in. So hopefully I won't have to do that. But anyway, so as a mathematician, I'm going to double check. So I'm going to substitute in my x in for AB to make sure I get 10. So AB equals 10x minus 10, which is there and there. All right, which means that x is going to transform into a 2. So I'm going to replace that x with a 2. Okay, so we get AB equals 10 times 2 minus 10. All right, let's see if we can get 10. I'm anticipating the answer already. Let's see. I want to know if I get 10. So let's see here. What's 10 times 2? It is 20. I'm going to bring down my minus 10. And 20 minus 10. It is 10. Yay! We're excited because it worked out. Yes. Awesome. Okay, so I now know x is 2, EF is 5, and AB is 10. That problem was epic. I would deem that one as an epic problem. Thank you guys for hanging out with me while we solved mid segments. I had a blast, if you couldn't tell, so I hope you did too. And I already know you did, because solving these problems is pretty awesome. Thanks, guys.